I think I'm losing my mind. Trying to stay inside the lines.
This is Ida Alameen. Welcome to Celestial You. Gone. I mean, gone. So let me tell you something about that. We are here at the Chai Spot in Sedona.
I'm focused on the future. Don't care about nothing else.
Hi everybody. Today I'm here with my special guest, Heidi Diaz. We are here in Sedona, Arizona, and we want to talk to you about hypnotherapy. So Heidi, were you always a hypnotherapist?
Yes, I was born that way.
Very good. Lady Gaga, she was born that way, right? So I want to hear your story. I happen to know we have something in common because I'm a pharmacist.
And I worked at a pharmacy for like almost 20 years.
She's a pharmacy tech. Yeah. So we have that in common, but tell me how you got into hypnotherapy.
First time I even really heard about it was through Brian Weiss, the book Many Lives, Many Masters.
Yeah.
And this was back in 2013.
Oh.
Yeah. So I read the book and I was hooked. That's it. Got hooked on it. A friend of mine, he told me about it. Got into the book. I read all his books. I researched him, and after I researched him, I decided to go get trained by him. So in 2016, I went to the Omega Center in Rhinebeck, New York, and I took his training course, and I received my certification to be a hypnotherapist, like a past life regression.
Oh, cool. And I happen to know you do lots of different techniques. So what are the techniques of hypnotherapy that you practice?
I also do QHHT, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique, through Dolores Cannon.
Yes, I love Dolores Cannon.
That's how we met.
Yeah, that's how we met.
Yes, because I sent you an email, you know.
Yeah.
So I just started the level 2 program.
Nice.
And Dolores Cannon was introduced by someone who I met at the Brian Weiss training.
Okay.
She told me about Dolores Cannon, and that's how, I got into her.
Nice.
And with someone else who I met at the Brian Weiss training, she's taken a course and now teaches it through EKA, which is EKAA, which was created by Raj Kapadia, and it's a integrated clinical hypnotherapy.
Oh.
Yes. And with that technique, you learn so many different modalities. One similar to what QHHT does, one similar to what Brian Weiss does, but then like a huge broad experience of other things, not just hypnotherapy, but like chakra reading, clearing, room clearing, like so many, like literally I could go on and on.
I actually had my chakras cleared by Heidi, and it was amazing. She didn't tell me when she was going to do it, but after she did it, I felt like I had access to my creativity again, which was being stifled. So it really does work, and I wish I could have it done all the time. So cool, that's really amazing. What I noticed about you, Heidi, is that you don't like to just use one method. It seems like you might be doing some sort of assessment on your clients to figure out which method might benefit them. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Well, when I worked with you, we did the QHHT.
Yeah.
You had explained to me that the first time you tried it didn't work out. What was the story behind that with the first person?
Yeah, I just felt like I was in my ego a little bit, and I wasn't getting into the subconscious mind or the higher self part of the experience. Within QHHT, if you do it properly, you can actually access your subconscious mind and or your higher self at the direction of a hypnotherapist. But I always felt like I was too present for the process, and my conscious mind was taking over. Or, as we would discover, something else was taking over my sessions. So if you guys haven't read my blog about this, I'm going to link it below. But I did write a blog about healing hypnosis and the wolf within. And so I'm going to tell a little bit about that story so that you guys can go on the roller coaster that we went on when I did my hypnosis with Heidi.
Yeah, QHHT session. Yeah.
Yes, the QHHT session. And basically, it was an interesting session. Let me tell you. So, I want to talk to you guys about my healing hypnosis session, quantum healing. And it was interesting. So we first did the QHHT method that Dolores teaches, and it's a very prescribed method. But as we were kind of doing this hypnosis, I guess perhaps Heidi was the one that noticed something. It didn't even sound like me.
So I knew something was up.
So when Heidi does the client intake and like the question answers in the beginning, what are you looking for?
I'm just listening to your story.
Okay.
So that's basically what I'm doing, just listening to your story.
Okay.
For QHHT, you just basically listen.
Okay.
When I'm doing Eka, I am looking for certain things that stand out.
Okay. All right.
So,
But it seems like you just kind of like, because you know all these techniques, are almost simultaneously doing them.
I use my intuition a lot, so
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
count on that heavily.
She has a strong intuition.
So I count on it a lot, and
Yeah.
I kind of have an idea of how, like even reading books and stuff. Like I read a lot of Dolores Cannon books. I read, like I said, all of Brian Weiss books, and when you're talking to either like masters, subconscious, everyone it has a certain language, like no other, and the way you were speaking it just didn't sound like your subconscious.
Okay, so my next question is, what does the subconscious sound like?
Well, if I tell you, then people cheat.
Okay, so we'll kind of leave some
It's very
mystery in.
straightforward, just say that.
It's very straightforward. Okay. And there's no sense of like ego with it. Like the person doesn't
No.
sense, if you're putting on a bit of an ego, you're definitely not in your subconscious or high self.
Yes,
We can
but
say
it's not
that.
ego like in an egotistical way. Like I know I say egotistical, and I know it has a lot of negative connotation to the word. It's just like it sounds very human.
Human and not otherworldly. Let's just say.
Yes.
So, you were getting a lot of that interference in my session.
Yes.
Even though I feel like I'm a person who knows how to meditate and like is kind of a part of the, spiritual movement here, but for some reason that was happening. And then, the next thing I remember is, as I was going through and answering the questions, supposedly in my subconscious mind, you asked me a kind of very abrupt question.
Yes. So I basically asked you a question.
And you said, I remember you said, is it okay if I ask one last question?
Yes.
And I was like, sure.
And I said, I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And then you answered, like what was speaking through you.
Well, you asked me,
What is your name?
yes, and she didn't just say, what is your name? She said, what is your name? Like that, like loud. And I was like, and what happened is I heard or felt the name Gorg, which in
Gorgon,
Farsi,
I think it was Gorgon.
well, it was Gorg first.
Oh, okay.
I heard the name Gorg, which in Farsi is wolf. But then I was in shock because I was like, oh my God. And then I westernized it by saying Gorgon.
Yeah, well, you said verbally out loud with Gorgon.
Yeah, but in my head I was thinking Gorg, and then I was like, after I said it, and I didn't say this out loud, but I was like, who the fuck is Gorgon? And
then I was like problem solved.
So if you want to read the whole interaction, you can click the link below to my blog. It was kind of like a really scary experience for me initially until Heidi broke it down.
I was like, game on.
She was like, ready for it. Who's Gorgon? So eventually we had a couple more sessions, and it just seemed like the sessions were being taken over by Gorgon.
Yes.
And the way that Heidi knew that is you were able to recognize that character as not being consistent with what a subconscious would be consistent with.
Yes, that was part of it, yes.
Yeah. What else?
It just wanted attention. Like I said, I rely heavily on my intuition.
Yeah, it felt like
Yes.
it just wanted attention. So, and my question is, like, when you encounter these things, like, first of all, what are they?
You know, some people call them spirits, some say entities, some say attachments. I mean,
What is an attachment?
again, some people say spirits, entities, alien.
Okay.
It depends how you want to see it, to be honest.
Oh my God.
And Sedona too, right?
We're in Sedona, and there's like all this UFO paraphernalia. So.
I think I'm losing my mind, trying to stay inside the lines. It's like you're running in place. Yeah. How you keep staying the same. Yeah. But baby, I get something different, and I'm okay with that. I can't fake no more smiles. That shit gon' drive me mad. I'm focused on the future, don't care about nothing else. I'm better by myself.